Hi Blues, this is Saumit Talks Chelsea and welcome back to another transfer talk video on my channel. Last night, there were so many breaking Chelsea transfer news that I thought to myself that I have to bring this news to you guys as soon as possible. So rest easy Chelsea fans, I have got you covered with the latest Chelsea transfer news this season. Before starting, I would like to remind you guys that the current like target for this video is 15 likes and the channel subscriber target is 1000 subscribers. So I request you guys to give this video a like and click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. So like always, without much further ado, let's get started. So Blues, the first bit of news is regarding a 97.5 million pound Belgian striker, Romelu Lukaku. Last night, there was some breaking news regarding his move to Inter, and it looks like this particular loan move is a real possibility now. Before I give my particular views on this, I want to show you some tweets. Check this out. So Blues, the first bit of news regarding Romelu Lukaku was brought to us from Absolute Chelsea, and they are quoting this from Core Sport via Sport Witness. They say that Romelu Lukaku will fly to London to free himself from Chelsea, with his priority to return to Inter Milan. He will devote himself to his summer goal, that is to return to Inter. And then Fabrizio Romano came out with the transfer bombshell, and he says that Inter are pushing to sign Romelu Lukaku this summer. The Belgian striker is now insisting with Chelsea to leave the club. He only wants Inter move. Talks ongoing on the potential loan fee between the two clubs, while Lukaku would be ready to reduce his salary. And then Absolute Chelsea brought this particular news from DiMarzio, who say that Inter Milan's confidence about Romelu Lukaku's return to Italy has increased a lot in the last few hours. Inter are willing to pay an important fee for the loan from Chelsea. And lastly, CFC Pies brought us news from again DiMarzio, who said that Romelu Lukaku's Inter Milan has increased chances by a lot today, and Lukaku's pressing on Chelsea worked. Negotiations open in next hours, and lastly, Inter hope to close the deal in the next hours with Chelsea. So Blues, now coming to what are my thoughts regarding this particular transfer. If you guys would have forgotten, I wanted to remind you guys, Chelsea brought Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan 1 year back for 97.5 million pounds. It's not 97 pounds, not 97,500 pounds, but 97.5 million pounds. And any particular Chelsea fan, anyone Chelsea would have thought that when you're spending this much on any particular player, you would have your attack sorted for at least the next 3 to 4 years. And Chelsea were hopeful that Romelu Lukaku would be scoring 50 to 20 goals per season. That was the expectation that we had from. But you know how things have turned now. Inter Milan are looking to loan Lukaku from Chelsea 1 year after he has signed with us. This basically just means that Chelsea have not signed Lukaku permanently, but they had loaned him from Inter for 97 million pounds. That would be the highest amount of loan fee that you will ever see in football history ever. I remember when we had signed Lukaku, there were some reports that Romelu Lukaku is coming back because he has unfinished business at Chelsea, and some people even were comparing him to King Didier Drogba. I just feel so shameful about all those things. I would like to admit that even I was one of those fans who thought that Romelu Lukaku is going to come here and he's going to score so many goals for Chelsea. It's time for his redemption and he'll take full responsibility for that. But I was so wrong. The only thing that Romelu Lukaku has accomplished is the Sky Italia interview that he gave, confessing his love for Inter and the fact that he has proven every Chelsea fan wrong. But he has done it in the wrong way possible. People were hoping him to score goals, yeah, but he has been the complete opposite of that. Personally, I would consider this to be one of the worst transfers in Chelsea Football Club history. And the scouts who scouted Romelu Lukaku definitely need to be questioned. They need to be questioned as to how they thought this particular player who's playing in an Italian league, which is considerably slower compared to Premier League, would fit right in the Chelsea system. All those scouts need to be questioned and some of them even need to be fired. The recruitment in the last few years has been absolutely atrocious. And Romelu Lukaku is just one of those players that we signed in the attack. I remember his first game against Arsenal when he scored the tap-in, and people were thinking that we finally got the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and now Chelsea would be challenging for titles. Everyone was so wrong, man. Especially that City game where he had 7 touches in the whole match. That for me was a breaking point, and I knew at that point that this guy is not going to perform. This guy won't be performing at Chelsea. And now coming to Romelu Lukaku's mentality, I definitely think he has a really shallow mentality and he wants to be in the league where he knows it would be easy for him to score. I recently read a report from John Obi Mikel where he said that the Italian league is much slower compared to the Premier League. It's not as fast paced, it's not as aggressive, and thus Romelu Lukaku was thriving there. Romelu Lukaku definitely wants that particular league where he can easily wrestle past 3 or 4 defenders and he can score goals even though he has a really poor first touch. That's what this guy needs. He wants to score 20 to 25 goals in the lower league because he cannot perform in the Premier League. That just speaks of the mentality of this particular player. Absolutely atrocious, man. And now, coming to what I feel Chelsea should do regarding Romelu Lukaku, definitely, I think they have to loan him out because we are paying Lukaku £315,000 per week to stay at Chelsea. And if we loan him to Inter, then maybe Inter can cover most of its salary, or maybe he can agree for reduced salary too. So, a 50 to 20 million pound loan fee should be the minimum that Chelsea should ask, and they should give them an obligation to buy for 60 million after 2 years. I would be even okay if it's 70, but I think realistically, the buy on option would be somewhere around 60 million pounds. And now coming to where this leaves Chelsea at, this leaves us at the same position that we were at last season. We'll again have to find that missing jigsaw piece to complete the Chelsea squad. And at this point, I don't think there are many good strikers left. Erling Haaland has joined City, Darwin Núñez has gone to Liverpool, and the only good striker options currently available are maybe Gabriel Jesus from Man City. So this is one particular deal which I thought earlier that Chelsea could maybe wait, but now I need them to wrap this up. We need a striker for this new season. This Lukaku news has absolutely put a dent in Chelsea's transfer plan, and now they have to additionally spend money for a new striker. So let's see who Chelsea buy in the upcoming transfer window in the striker position. So Blues, the next player that I'll be discussing in today's transfer dog video is Jules Kounde. If you guys thought that the Romelu Lukaku news was the only breaking news that I would bring to you guys are absolutely mistaken. There has been some breaking news regarding Jules Kounde too. So let's go to Twitter to see what it is. So Blues, if you didn't know, Jules Kounde had injured himself in the match against Croatia. So this is just a confirmation of that particular news brought to us by Pice. Injury for Kounde is hamstring. He plays injured today. He will be operated on tomorrow. And there has been some positive news regarding this. Jules Kounde has undergone a successful operation today. This news has been brought to us from the Equip by Pice, every level to the source. And also, there has been some news from Absolute Chelsea who say that Sevilla are privately fuming that Jules Kounde opted to play for France against Croatia while carrying a knock, potentially risking his move to Chelsea. And lastly, there's been some breaking news from Barca Times. They say that Kounde has told Sevilla he wants to leave for Barcelona, even though Chelsea and Newcastle are willing to pay his release clause. Laporta is directly responsible for the operation, and both clubs are looking for a formula, around 65 to 70 million. So Blues, now coming to what are my thoughts about this particular news. If you guys didn't know, Kounde was carrying this particular injury from some time now, and it was not that major. But now, when he played recently in the UEFA Nations League against Croatia, it is a real possibility that this particular injury would have aggravated and it needs surgery now. And from reports, it also states that both Chelsea and Sevilla were aware of the fact that Kounde was carrying this particular injury. But on a positive note, it looks like Kounde's surgery was successful, and the time it would take him to recover back to his full fitness would be 2 to 3 weeks. Personally, I don't think 2 to 3 weeks is a really long time. 2 to 3 weeks would be like end of June, start of July. So we will still be having Kounde before the preseason starts, and that's a really promising and positive fact. And the last thing that Chelsea need to sign now is an injured player for the upcoming season. So it's better that he's only out for 2 to 3 weeks instead of 3 to 4 months, which is the usual case for a hamstring injury. Moreover, Chelsea can use this particular injury to their advantage. Like the report said that Sevilla are privately fuming that Kounde was allowed to play in the match even though he was carrying an injury. This just means that Chelsea have got more leeway in the negotiations for Kounde. Obviously, if you're signing a fully fit player, you will have to pay more fees. But if you're signing an injured player, you'll have to pay significantly less. So the 65 million price tag that Sevilla had set for him might not actually hold in this case now. And it's really good for Chelsea from a financial point of view. But the most shocking news is that Barcelona might be interested in signing Kounde. First off, I don't understand how a Barcelona are able to afford Kounde. They already have a very strict wage structure. And I think because of this, they're not even able to register Christensen and even Frank Kessie. So how are they able to manage Kounde is completely out of my mind. But let's wait until a very reliable source breaks this news out about Barca's interest. But we need to be rest assured because Kounde already has a deal agreed with Chelsea based on his personal terms, and the fact that Tuchel really rates him and wants him is a big advantage for Chelsea in the race to sign Kounde. So let's hope that Chelsea can wrap up this Kounde deal in the next 1 or 2 weeks. We'll be able to see Kounde in a Chelsea shirt. So Blues, that's all the news I wanted to bring to you guys in today's transfer talk video. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Before leaving, I wanted to request you guys to give this video a like, click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on your bell notifications so you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @SaumitTalksCFC. so you can follow me there and stay in touch with all of my latest tweets. Until next time, take care, Blues, and see you soon. Goodbye.